All right, in this lesson, you're going to want to take notes on this because you are going to have an assignment over this. And this is at your own pace. So if you need to stop the video and go back to something, you can do that. In this lesson, we're going to talk about using the percent proportion. An example of a percent proportion just means that you have two fractions that are equal to each other. One fraction, though, is out of 100, meaning that one fraction is a percent. And remember that a percent is just a part or an amount out of 100. So an example of a percent proportion would be this. 1/2 equals 50 out of 100. The reason this is a percent proportion is because these two fractions mean the same thing, and one of the fractions is a percent. A percent is just a number out of 100. Another example would be 75 over 100, that's our percent, is equal to 3 out of 4. Same fraction, written differently, and one fraction is a percent. It's out of 100. So with that knowledge, what we're going to do in this lesson is we are going to write two proportions, or one proportion with two different ratios or fractions. One of those fractions will be out of 100, and we're going to solve to figure out a missing part of our proportion. So what I want you to write down, add this to what you have already, is percent out of 100. So the part out of our whole is equal to is over of. So for each problem, we're looking to see if we can find a percent, and we're looking for what numbers come next to the words is and of. So is represents a part out of our whole, and of represents our total amount. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Oh, I should point out one other thing. Our denominator is always going to be our total amount, and our numerators are always going to be the part out of the whole. Number 1, 12 is what percent of 32? So go ahead and circle what we're looking for, call that X. What we are searching for is our percent. So remember our formula, percent out of 100 equals is over us, of. That is what is going to help guide us in figuring out what goes where. So X is our percent that we don't know, and that's out of 100 because a percent is always out of 100. Now we have to figure out what goes on the numerator, what goes on the denominator. So this is where we use our keywords. 12 is next to 12, so that means that 12 is our part out of our whole. So 12 is on top. Now we have of 32. Remember that we have is over of, and the word of will usually represent our total. So our total goes on the bottom. Now we're going to solve. X times 32 is 32x. 100 times 12 is 1,200. Divide by 32. Anything divided by itself is 1. And what we get is 37.5. Now what does that mean? Well, 37.5 goes back into our proportion for X. That's what we solved for. So what that means is that 35 out of 100 is the same as 12 over 32. Or another way of thinking of that is 12 over 32 is 37.5%. Let's try number 2. 15 is what percent of 20? First thing I look for is my percent, always. We're asked for what percent, so that implies that we are solving for our percent. So remember that our formula that we can use is percent out of 100. In this case, we don't know for the percent because they say is what percent. So our numerator is X. So percent out of 100 equals is over of. Is going to always represent the part out of the whole, or the numerator. So 15 is, that's going to be our numerator, of, which is the total, is 20. Now we're going to solve. So 20 times x is 20x. 100 times 15 is 1,500. Divide each side by 20. And what we end up with is 75. So what that means is that our x can be replaced with a 75, so go ahead and do that. And that means that 15 out of 20 is the same as 75 out of 100, or 75%. Let's try 3. 100 is what percent of 25? Again, we want to start with our percent out of 100, or percent over 100 equals is over of. We're going to keep coming back to that. We don't know the percent, so that's going to be x. So x out of 100. Now we need to figure out what goes on the other side. 100 is, so is over of, our 100 will be on the top. That's our part out of our whole. And then it says of 25, so over 25. Again, percent out of 100 equals is over of. X times 25 is 25x. 100 times 100 is 1 with 4 zeros. Now divide by 25. Okay, so what we get when we divide 10,000 by 25 is 400. So our answer is x equals 400. So what this means is that our x can be replaced with 400. So 400 over 100 is the same as 100 over 25. Or 100 out of 25 is the same as 400%. That's what that means. All right, we're about to wrap up, so let's try this. Number 4, what percent of 5 is 12? So remember, we're looking for percent out of 100 equals is over of, or part out of the whole equals our part out of our whole. So again, we're asked for a percent, so our percent is going to be replaced with x because we don't know what it is. So x over 100 equals is, so is 12 over of out of 5. So what it's asking for is this. It's saying 12 out of 5 is what as a percent. So 5 times x is 5x, and 100 times 12 is 1,200. Divide by 5. What we're left with is 240. So what that means is that our x is replaced with 240. So what we're saying here is 240 out of 100 is the same as 12 over 5. Or 12 out of 5 is the same as 240%. All right, number 6, what number is 15.5% of 450? Now this one is a little different, it's worded differently, and our numbers are in different spots. So we need to think about this. Remember that our formula is percent out of 100 equals is over of. However, in this case, they gave us our percent. They said what number is 15.5% of 450? So in this case, our percent, we know what we're trying to find as a percent, and that is 15.5%, or 15.5 out of 100. Now they're saying what number, so we know we're trying to solve for a number, not a percent, and we have of 450. Remember that of goes on our denominator. So 450 goes on our denominator. Now we're going to solve. 15.5 times 450 is 6,975. Okay? Now, is what we are solving for. We're looking for the part out of the whole to make 15.5%. We know 100 times x is 100x. Okay. Now we'll divide by 100. What we get is 69.75. So what that means is that replaces our x. And so we would say 15.5%, or 15.5 out of 100 is the same as 69 and 75/100 out of 450. Let's try 7. What number is 63.4% of 12? So they have given us a percent, and remember that our formula to set up our proportion is percent out of 100 equals is over of. So that's going to be 63.4%, which is the same as 63.4 out of 100, equals is over of 12. So 63.4 times 12. 100 times x. Divide by 100. And our answer, 7.608. So that means that 63%, or 63.4 out of 100, is the same fraction as 7.608 out of 12. All right, last one for the day. Find 10.5% of 30. So what number is 10.5% of 30? So first thing, percent out of 100 equals is over of. Or part out of our total equals the part out of our total. Okay, so they've given us a percent, so I'm going to replace my percent with 10.5. Of 30. So of 30, 30 is our total. And what we're looking for is the number out of 30 that makes 10.5%. So x is what we're solving for. 10.5 times 30 is 31.5. $315. My bad. I accidentally added in an extra decimal. 315. Now, 100 times x is 100x. And our answer, when we divide each side by 100, is 3.15. So what that means is that 3.15 out of 30 is the same as 10.5 out of 100. All right, so that is all we're going to do for today. We will finish these on Monday, and for now, you are going to have a few problems from your book to practice this. So you are going to do numbers 1 through 8 from your book. If you finish with extra time, you may work on Khan Academy. Nice job. Ask me if you have any questions, and remember that we do percent out of 100 equals is over of. Is and of are our key words to represent the part out of the whole, just like our percent is a part out of the total, which is 100.